Author Sarada Bonnet. In Notes of Forgiveness, Bonnet shares her childhood story as daughter of famed rockabilly singer Sherry Davis. Notes of Forgiveness, available in bookstores and at saradabonnet.com.
Good evening, I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, Susan Larson, host of The Reading Life on WWNO. Great to see you, Susan.
Hi, Peg.
Poppy Tooker, yay, host of the WWNO program Louisiana. I'm flanked by WWNO here. Thank you, Poppy. Great to see you.
Great to
Trust
see
me.
you.
Okay. And pianist and composer, he's back, Harry Mayronne, who wrote the music for the musical Waitin Around, and he and some of the cast members will perform for us a little later. Hey, Harry.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. And making his Steppin Out debut, Adrian D'Arcy, one of the founding members of the Irish Network New Orleans, here to talk about the upcoming New Orleans International Irish Famine Commemoration. Great to see you.
Thanks
Hello.
for having us.
But first up, Miss Poppy.
Oh, that's an awkward moment, Peggy. That's like when you said, next week, yellow fever.
Yes, I know.
Smiling at this gentleman, and you're going, and the famine. I'm like, oh,
right.
happy talk.
I know. It's very serious.
Hunger, let's
Let's
talk
talk
about
about
how to
food.
fix the hunger,
Yes.
at least, in our lives here in New Orleans. And I'm a big fan, and I know you already are too, of Mezzato Cucina, the wonderful new project of those wonderful taste bud guys, and they are just jumping into the Halloween fray with the most wonderful event that's going on all next week at Mezzato Cucina. They have built a Day of the Dead altar that you can view when you go in.
Oh.
And they are doing some really cool philanthropic things. They actually developed this cocktail called the Black Widow Cocktail. And a portion of all of the sales of the Black Widow Cocktail are going to save our cemeteries right through All Souls Day. This is happening, as specifically designed to restore Marie Laveau's tomb.
Oh,
Now,
what a good idea
Isn't
that
that a
is.
haunting idea?
Yeah.
It's bewitching. So they are going to have on Halloween night, which of course is next Friday, they're having a Halloween party. There's going to be a DJ. It's going to be really a great time. The next day on Saturday, they're having a special All Saints brunch. Then there's an All Souls brunch. It's going to be a big, big time. Right through Sunday, November 2nd, they've got special menus, and everybody who attends gets to enter a contest for a drawing to win a special VIP voodoo experience. And that's, of course, the music festival,
Wow.
which is coming right up. And that's going to include a limousine ride, a brunch the day, and special VIP tickets. It's a really cool thing. So make your way over to Mezzato Cucina, and if you don't eat, at least drink a Black Widow cocktail, okay? Then, of course, it's Prospect 3 coming up, and that's starting this weekend. Well, this year, for the first time, there's going to be a food element to Prospect 3. And you know that wonderful building on Lee Circle that's going to be a culinary education center? Well, that building is being used starting tomorrow, Saturday, right through January 25th, to exhibit a special, really cool food exhibit. There's art inspired by food. There's everything from crocheted oysters, crocheted poor boys. Artists from all over the country have created this amazing exhibit, and the whole thing's going to kick off tomorrow afternoon, Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock, when I'm going to give a talk about gumbo and the meaning of gumbo, and there's going to be a gumbo making demonstration, but I don't have to cook. That's the good news. I only have to talk.
We should point out that's where the Louisiana Artworks was.
Was.
Right
And
out there on Howard.
Where the new culinary center is
Yeah,
going to be.
very
Just off
exciting.
Lee Circle, right there. If you haven't had a chance to get in that building, go. And it's
And
free.
Prospect 3 is going to be all over the city with all the public art. So it's interesting that there's a food component,
Yeah,
too.
and I love that they're doing it in that building that's going to be a very important food place coming in New Orleans' future, because it's going to be a professional cooking school for professional chef training, first class, world class. Then, another one of my favorite events, also tomorrow, Saturday, October 25th, the Melatonin Festival.
Oh, yeah.
I love the Melatonin Festival. The food is great. It's a huge, varied lineup every year. The music is fantastic, and the crafts. There's a cookbook that you can buy filled with Melatonin recipes, and you may have seen me wear this on Steppin Out, but one of my very favorite pieces of jewelry is a beautiful little glass Melatonin pendant that I purchased, and right there at the Melatonin Festival. And so Lance Hill is there usually with plants, and you know, the Melatonin, we almost lost the Melatonin during Hurricane Katrina because Melatonis don't like to have their feet wet. So all the New Orleans Melatonis drowned. But thanks to the work of Lance Hill, Dr. Lance Hill at Tulane, the Melatonin is back from the dead and better than ever. Perfect to have its revival right before Halloween. Then we've talked about how this very cool spot just kind of opened up under the radar, big surprise. Dis and Dat, if you have not been to Dis and Dat, right over there on the best part of Bank Street, tomorrow is the day to go because it's going to be their grand opening, and there's going to be music, and there's going to be giveaways, and there's going to be happy hour prices with half price on all beer all day. So if you haven't had one of Skip Murray's incredible burgers or had a chance to have one of those famous dogs right there on Bank Street, head over there tomorrow.
All right. Thank you so much, Poppy. And we turn to Susan to talk about heading over.
Oh, yeah.
In less than 2 weeks, it's coming.
I know. It's fall. It's glorious. It's time to take everything outside, even reading. So coming up on November 1st is the Louisiana Book Festival, the 11th this year, dedicated to the memory of George Rodrigue, who, of course, was the great artist and book author that we lost in 2013. And so I want to tell you, it's like the biggest orgy for readers you've ever seen. And I'll tell you how you can see that. You go to the state capitol and you take the elevator all the way to the top and you peek out toward the library. And what you see are book tents, food tents, music tents, exhibitors tents. You see a children's tent, storytelling, everything, cooking demonstrations too, as you know, and thousands of people walking down this sidewalk lined with publishers and booksellers. And it's like the reading community is all gathered in one place, but they're all heading toward the Capitol when they take over our political building and use it for literary purposes, which I think might be an improvement for many of those rooms. But who are the authors that people are going to go see? Well, they're fabulous, and there are hundreds of them, it seems like. But some of my picks are Rick Bragg. Rick Bragg, I think, should be like an honorary Louisianian for everything he's done.
I wish he lived here again.
I know. And his new book is Jerry Lee Lewis, My Own Story. And if anyone can coax the killer to tell his story, it would be Rick Bragg. And Rick will be speaking at noon in the House Chamber. It's going to be fabulous. It's a great rock and roll book. And then Cokie Roberts. We all know Cokie has put her fabulous journalism skills, and what's really great journalism if it's not storytelling? So she's working on these books of popular history. She'll be talking about Founding Mothers, which has now been adapted to a book for young readers.
Oh, wow, what a good idea.
I know, isn't it? And it's from 10 to 10:45 in the Senate chamber. And people might think they know Charles Blow from the New York Times. He's been a columnist there since 2008, CNN commentator, but you will really know Charles Blow after you read the stunning memoir. It's called A Fire Shut Up in My Bones. And it's about growing up in a small town in North Louisiana, being a victim of sexual abuse, going beyond that to fashion an identity and a life as a writer. It is a stunning book you will never forget. And you can see him from 3 to 3:45 in the big room, the House Chamber. And Gary Christ will also be there. And Gary Christ has written one of the most fun books this fall. It's called Empire of Sin. And it covers everything in the subtitle, a story of sex, jazz, murder, and the battle for modern New Orleans. And he's from 12:15 to 12:45 in the Senate Committee Room A. And Empire of Sin is all about the rise and fall of Storyville. It's about the Axeman, the infamous murdering Axeman. Tom Anderson, Josie Arlington, Louis Armstrong, Kid Ory, Buddy Bolden. It's just, it blows you away to read it. So much stuff packed into this book. And one of the most moving moments at the book festival is when the Louisiana Writer Award is presented, and that's always the first thing. And this year it goes to Darrell Bork, the wonderful poet, former poet laureate. And it's always such a special moment because you're recognizing somebody who's Louisiana born and bred and has done something special to represent the state in their work. And Darrell is that and more. And he will get that award at 10 o'clock Saturday morning, November 1st in the House Chamber. And then I'll interview him at noon at 12:15. And that for me will be a big privilege. I love Darrell and his work. And then, as Poppy says, Halloween. And what does that mean in the book world? The Rices are coming to town, So Anne Rice is back, and so is one of her most popular characters, the vampire Lestat. And he is back in this gorgeous Prince Lestat. That's the most beautiful book jacket. That doesn't do it justice. And Christopher Rice has a new book, a supernatural thriller also set in Louisiana called The Vines. And they will both be coming to town for the Vampire Lestat Fan Club Ball and for this week-long conference called the Undead Con. So if you want more information about that, look at arvlfc.com. And more information about the book festival is at louisianabookfestival.com. But Anne and Chris will both be signing their books Sunday, November 2nd, 1 to 4, Garden District Bookshop. A ticketed event.
What a coup. That's really something,
Yes, it
And
is.
speaking of a coup, tell us about Waiting Around. It's back.
It's back, and it ties in, of course, with food because it's all about serving food. Waiting Around, the Restaurant Musical is a show I wrote with Ricky Graham in 2002. It was intended to play a couple of months, and what can I say? We're still playing. It's had an off-Broadway run. We played at Le Chat Noir for 3 years, and this is a new production. I say new, we remounted with a new director, Amanda Zirkenbach, and choreographer in 2011. We have Chris Wecklein from the original cast, who's co-producing with me. Darcy Malone, whose mom, Susie Malone from the Pfister Sisters, and Dave Malone.
Oh, wow.
A newcomer, Allie Peck, and returning for the first time since the off-Broadway production, fabulous Bob Eads.
Fabulous, right.
So we're playing in Westwego and Covington this time, and so you have to cross a bridge to get there. And for all local people, it's not that big a deal to get. I just tell them it's like going to the river bend, only on the other side of the river.
It's actually a great facility, too.
It's a wonderful facility,
is.
and we're getting great audiences. And the thing about the show, I tell people, is it's about, well, a friend of mine who's a restaurant manager called it the chorus line of the restaurant industry. It's about waiting tables, but it's ultimately about respect for people who you perceive to be not quite as important as you. And we have a lot of people who come who are servers who say, oh, it's so great. It's like a catharsis. It validates. We have a wonderful video reaction of a girl who stood up straight and said, now I'm proud of what I do. Oh. But we also have non-servers who leave saying, I'm going to be a better tipper now.
Oh, it's delightful. You don't have to be in the service industry by any means. So tell us what we're going to hear tonight. You're about to get up and go with your crew.
We're going to do, Chris, Darcy and Allie are going to do the cocktail conga, which sings the joys of a little assistance in the workplace.
Okay, let's hear. Thank you so much. Let's hear the cocktail conga across the room.
Well, I've been here a couple months now, and these two have taught me a lot. Now, I'm not trying to sound radically un-PC or anything, and I am no way trying to condone the abuse of alcohol. But I find that sometimes in the middle of working a hard night, you need a little potent something to give your shift a lift. Sometimes at work when everything goes wrong, you need a boost to keep you going longer. You try caffeine, but you need something stronger. You take a sip and do the cocktail conga. 1, 2, 3, sip. 1, 2, 3, sip. 1, 2, 3, sip. 1, 2, 3. Be sure your boss can see your enjoyment, or you may sip your way to unemployment. Hey. 1, 2, 3, sip. 1, 2, 3, sip. to Cucamonga.
Cucamonga.
They raise their glass and do the cocktail conga. Hey! Hello?
Fancy. D'Arcy!
Yay!
So talented, huh?
So try a nip of something that's delicious, but hide your glass and don't look too suspicious. Just quiet down and softly sing our songa. Let's have a toast and do the cocktail conga. The cocktail conga. The cocktail conga. The cocktail conga.
Great job. Do not miss Waitin Around. I think I've seen it twice so far. Really wonderful. Congratulations. So both in, as we said, in Westwego and also in Covington as well. And now for something completely different. And that is, of course, this commemoration, a very thoughtful and very profound commemoration about the incredible Irish community in New Orleans. Give us the rundown, sir.
Well, and thank you again for having us on.
Absolutely.
Every year.
And where are you from?
Ireland,
Okay.
originally. I've lived in New Orleans 16 years. Most got New Orleans kids born and raised, but originally from Ireland. And the Irish government every year, for the past 6 or 7, actually 9 years, awards a city all across the world the designation of the International Famine Commemoration City. It's gone to Sydney, Australia, Toronto, Liverpool, London, Boston, New York. It's a very important award, and it's only given to cities that have a connection with Ireland during famine times. And what was kind of lost over the last maybe 50, 60 years is the connection that New Orleans had with Ireland. New Orleans, in fact, was, and I hate to use the word popular, but because they were forced to leave, they were fleeing starvation in Ireland. But New Orleans was in either the second or third most popular destination during famine times. Thousands and thousands of immigrants came here and made their home here, have had kids, and have had a huge influence on every aspect of New Orleans culture,
Absolutely.
on the food, music, everything. So the Irish government recently, I think, kind of became more re-aware of the connections between Ireland and New Orleans.
We've got plenty of activities coming up, too.
Yes, they awarded us. So it's got stuff for everybody. It's over a 4-day event that starts November 6th, Thursday, and goes through Sunday, November 9th. Let's talk about
the symposium?
The symposium.
Wow.
It kicks off at the Historical Collection on Royal Street on Thursday night. It's going to be opened by the Minister for Arts from Ireland, who's flying over to give the keynote speech, and also Dr. Laura Kelly will be making a presentation that day. Then following that day, to a symposium sponsored by Tulane University, is being held at St. Alfonso's Church, which of course
So you
is
were all over town.
all over town.
You were truly all over town.
All
This
over
is
town,
great.
and that's open to the public. Come on by. There's going to be speakers from Ireland, from universities all over the United States, talking about famine and talking about similarities between the famine and Katrina, for instance. So that's going on. Also on the Friday night, on a cultural basis, at the Culture Museum on Conti Street in the French Quarter, some exhibits that are on loan from universities and cultural centres up in the north are being shown. The Irish Cultural Museum is about to open its own exhibit, so that's also open to the public.
And you've got the Poor Clares coming
Yes,
back for an event. Tell us about that.
The Poor Clares will be playing that night. The Conti Street is going to be closed off. They're doing a reunion. They will be there, and they will be there after the Irish Channel the Irish Channel Marching Group are doing a parade into Conti Street to memorialise the famine, and then there's going to be an Irish-style block party there with the Poor Clares, which I'm looking forward to doing a reunion.
How exciting.
Following day, at Kingsley House in the Irish Channel, there is an Irish festival, an Irish fesh we call it. So you got traditional Irish dancers coming in on stage. You also have a Gaelic football tournament going on, which is Irish. It's kind of an in-between of, I guess, basketball, American football, and soccer. It's been played in Ireland for years. So there's actual tournament teams coming in from Texas, playing New Orleans teams, all at Kingsley House. Then there's also historic tours going on Saturday morning. Then, of course, Saturday night, the historic Gallier Hall is opened up for a black tie event, featuring all the Brennan restaurants. The great Irish family of restaurateurs have come together and to create this great menu that's being served. And they've come together also along with newer Irish immigrants, Chef Matt Murphy from the Irish House,
it's great.
and Pauline Patterson from Treo, who also, by the way, is involved in Flynn McCool's, and they're involved in Prospect 3 this year. So
you've got now you're also dedicating, though, which is, and Tara O'Grady, who was on actually our show a few months back. She's going to be performing
She'll
during
be
the
at Gallier
weekend
Hall
too.
as well, and so will Black 47, which is a great Celtic rock punk band that has been performing around the country for about 25 years. They were actually decided to call it quits at the end of this year, and this will be their last show ever, for sure the last show ever in the South. And Black 47 is just an apt band. The name Black 47 is named after 1847, which was the worst year of the famine. So we're trying to have a kind of balance between commemorating the famine victims, but also celebrating the influence they had on food, music, culture.
And you're dedicating a cross,
and on
too,
Sunday, we are dedicating a 4-acre park out at the New Basin Canal area, in remembrance of so many Irish immigrants that came out and dig the canal and actually died during it. So it's got commemoration, it's got celebration. There's a lot for everybody. To find out about it, check out the website, www.ifnnola2014.org.
Well done, sir. That was a lot, and it's very exciting. And we really are honored to have this in our community too. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And now, though, it's time for our Artist Spotlight. And tonight we are featuring 2 works of art. The first is The Great Escape by photographer and video artist Wren Wilson. Originally from the Midwest, Wilson earned her BFA from the University of Wisconsin. She now resides in New Orleans and exhibits internationally. The second is a still photograph captured from the short film Gus and Deuce Go Elsewhere, Horses at the Museum by Lee Dygard. Both are part of the exhibit Back to the Front at the Front Gallery on St. Claude Avenue. It opens, of course, on Saturday night with a reception from 6 to 10 p.m. and it'll be on view through November the 2nd. Visit nolafront.org to learn more. The exhibit's being held in conjunction with the citywide exhibit Prospect 3 Notes for Now. And once again, that also opens on Saturday with a ribbon cutting at Washington Square Park at 11 a.m. And you can visit prospectneworleans.org to see all of the information about that. Visit WYES.org to see our online calendar and to see our lineup of events. You can go to that, WYES.org. That's ours, to also see our program online on demand. New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Jay Baudier, hello Jay, gave us the full name of the early local television madman, Morgus the Magnificent, Momus Alexander Morgus, and he told us where he lived. He lived, of course, atop the old ice house, the old city ice house. Now tonight's question. Name the 2 oldest, okay, Poppy, don't look.
I won't say a word.
The 2 oldest existing restaurants in New Orleans. Email your answers to Steppin Out at WYES.org. Our prizes: a Louisiana Life magazine subscription, a gift certificate for 2 courtesy of Vianne's Tea House, offering their culinary and gourmet tea experience. And tonight we have a t-shirt as worn by WYES staffer Steve Gombieski with the message 101 Shalmations. Also, a kitchen towel, Walk for the Cure. Very sweet. Proceeds from the sale of the towel go to the Susan G. Komen Cancer Research. Both are from our friends at wearablevegetables.com. And now our picks. Harry.
Waiting Around the Restaurant musical at Teatro Rico and
surprise.
and at Christ Episcopal Church in Covington.
Okay, great. Adrian, once again, that website.
It's www.ifnnola2014.org. But also my pick is the new book by Dr. Laura Kelly, The Irish in New Orleans, which is just coming out this week. It's a great read, great pictures. Enjoy it.
Great, thank you, Susan.
Oh, Tubby and Coo's Mid-City Bookshop opens at 631 North Carrollton, Halloween night, and that whole weekend of festivities. And also, plan ahead to come to the STARE fundraiser for one of the oldest literacy organizations in New Orleans. StareNola.org set aside November 13th for that date.
Good. Poppy.
Please come Sunday at noon to the 1850 House Museum, where for the first time ever, I will be signing Madame Begay's book with Madame Begay. She'll be there.
Okay, how fun. And my pick's lots of excitement at the Lakefront Airport this weekend with the Air Power Expo. That's Saturday and Sunday. So visit airpowerexpo.org home to see a lineup of events. Bonnie Warren and Cheryl Gerber will be signing their new book at New Orleans Home at Christmas. That's tomorrow from 1 to 3 at Garden District Bookstore. And Michelle Norris will be hosting NPR Presents Water, the live theatrical event exploring the world's delicate and volatile relationship with water. That's tomorrow evening at the Sanger. Visit WWNO for more information on that. And don't miss pop artist Valerie Sassafras's Halloween Bash and CD release party called Girls Night Out. That's next Friday at Gasa Gasa on Ferret Street. And looking ahead, just very quickly, the Sweet Sounds of Music benefiting the Uptown Music Theater Troupe will be held November 1st at the Xavier University Ballroom. The Dirty Dozen Brass Band are among the many stars performing to help the group raise funds to compete in the National Junior Theatrics Festival in Atlanta. Visit umtno.org for more information. And Harry, what are we going to hear?
Chris Weckline singing the title song, Waiting Around.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all very much, and good night.
I'm waiting for something to start. I'm waiting for it to begin. I know this routine by heart. It's either give up or give in. Being comfortable, that's easy. You don't have to make a choice. Don't rock the boat. Don't raise your voice. Keep looking forward while you keep on losing ground. And in the meantime, I'm just waiting around. My life is growing little, a little, day by day. My dreams are non-committal. It's safer that way. To what I'm waiting for is nowhere to be found. And in the meantime, I'm just waiting around. I see my life so clearly, the part I long to play, but day by day and yearly, it's fading away, away. I'm waiting for something to start. I'm waiting for it to begin. I know this routine by heart. It's either give up or give in. To what I'm waiting for is nowhere to be found. And in the meantime, I'm just waiting around.
Support for Steppin Out is made possible by local author Sarada Bonnet. In Notes of Forgiveness, Bonnet shares her childhood story as daughter of famed rockabilly singer Sherry Davis. Notes of Forgiveness, available in bookstores and at saradabonnet.com.